please.
Gunther.
Here.
James.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Rhodes.
Here.
Simmon.
Here, sorry.
Yeah, you're Simmon.
That's my name.
If we could all rise for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mark, the agenda all set, or?
The agenda's in order, Mayor.
Thank you. We have the minutes from November 18th and December 2nd already. The new clerk is on it. Do we have any comments on the minutes? Do we have a motion for approval?
So moved. Second.
Motion second. Changes, questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed the same, motion carries. We're now on special orders. The first, Mark, we'll let you fire away. Well, is Steve gonna be his last day as airport person?
There's Mark. Steve is gonna introduce.
Okay, Steve, please.
Good evening, Commission and group. We're police officers, that's a good sign, so yes, I like that. So anyways, wanted to introduce Kendra Harima from the airport. Kendra's been with the Roosevelt Airport for about 10 years, we were just talking about it. 3 years prior to the city manager, she worked for whole aviation with Mike Lafferty, so she's knows the airport inside now, a user of the airport. She actually owns an airplane there at the airport that's hangared as well. Her husband Scott's with her. He also has quite a few planes. If you knows biplanes up flying around, I hope you don't mind us, but nonetheless, that's the family. So we're happy to have Kendra. She's going to do a great job for us. I'm happy to introduce her as the airport manager.
Very good. Questions, Commission? Public?
Thank you for coming
Thank you
and
for
for
having
taking
me.
on this role.
Welcome. And you won't ever call Steve again about anything at the airport?
Oh, no, I'll be calling frequently.
Thank you for taking the position.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Steve. Next, we have the introduction of our new police officers. Chief, are you doing it, or is?
We are splitting this task. We're gonna do a total of 5. So we'll start, if we could have Derek Lowell, Derek Smith, and Andrew Hartung, please. Yes, thanks. I think, can I see you? Thank you. I'll start with, these are the 3 newest officers that we have who have gone, only one has just a couple more shifts before they're all on their own, so they completed field training. So the first is Derek Mole. Officer Mole was hired May 6, 2024. He was raised in Hudsonville, Michigan, and attended the West Michigan Aviation Academy for high school. Upon graduation in 2015, he enlisted in the U.S. Marine Corps, where he served as a communications strategy and operations specialist, as well as combat marksmanship coach and trainer. Derek was honorably discharged in 2020, at which time he enrolled in the criminal justice program at Fair State University and obtained his bachelor's degree. Derek completed his internship with us in 2023, and we were quite pleased with how that went and wanted to hire him. He began going through our process, and we were able to pick him up when he graduated in May. Next, I'm going to skip down to Derek Smith. We keep them separate because their names are spelled slightly different. Not the last names. Officer Derek Smith was hired July 8th, 2024. He was born and raised in the Big Rapids area. Upon graduating from high school, he joined the Army, where he served for 7 years, and during that time, he deployed 3 times. Derek has a bachelor's degree in accounting from Georgia Southern University. He worked several private security jobs prior to law enforcement, and his family most recently spent 3 years in Alaska before returning to the Big Rapids area. He's married and has 3 children. Officer Andrew Hartung, who everybody knows, has been with the city for a bit. Officer Hartung was hired March 6, 2024 as an employed recruit and graduated from Grand Valley State University on August 8, 2024. Officer Hartung is the third recruit that we have put through a sponsorship for the academy. He was born and raised in Muskegon and enlisted in the Army National Guard after graduating high school. He began attending Ferris State in 2014, earned his bachelor's degree in 2019, and his master's degree in 2021. He began his employment with the city of Big Rapids as a fantastic service officer in 2017. And he's also had the role of part-paid firefighter. He is full-time police, as well as the rental inspector code enforcement officer. Outside of work, he enjoys spending time with his family, exercising, and woodworking. And I don't know if any of you have anything you would like to say, or if there are any questions for these three.
Sure. So that West Mission Aviation High School must be a charter school.
Yes.
Big Rapids just played them in basketball. Do the people who go to that school have flying as a profession in mind, or how does that school work?
So a lot of times, like all the elective courses are aviation based, so a lot of times people will either go to like the engineering side, or they do have a flight school program also. So you kind of see a split there. I went to the flight school. My dad's a pilot and private pilot, and that was his hobby, so I grew up flying. So, but you kind of get a healthy split, and if you do the track properly, then you can graduate high school with your private pilot's license. And then a lot of people continue on to go to Western is a big college for them for the aviation program. But so mostly all the electives are kind of focused in that field. So
But you didn't go that route.
I did not.
Interesting. Ferris is looking at an aviation school, by the way. I should know if they're working on that. Thank you. Other questions? Andrew, is it different than checking the rentals?
Still get cobwebs in my hair and some structures, but.
Very good.
I don't have a question,
Please.
just a statement. Thank you for being in Big Rapids and choosing our police force to be a part of.
Not easy to recruit to a small town. Usually Kent County gets all our people. We find.
We're very
No
happy
idea.
to have
Amanda, thank you.
Thank you for choosing
coming
our
here.
community.
You bet. Anybody else? Thank you all.
Hey, Brian and Chad, if you guys like to come up. So tonight I have the privilege of introducing our two newest sergeants here at the police department. First is Sergeant Brian Hunt. Brian has approximately 23 years and 5 months in law enforcement experience. He graduated from Ferris State University in May of 2001 and first started working at a downstate agency. In 2004, Brian started working for the Osceola County Sheriff's Office, promoted to sergeant there in 2016. And luckily for us, he left there in 2021 and came to work for the city of Big Rapids as a patrolman. Brian wrote a nice biography here. These next couple sentences I want to take just a second to read. Since being at the Big Rapids Department of Public Safety, I feel appreciative of how welcoming the department was to my hiring. I have met new people, officers, and supervisors that I have a great admiration and appreciation for. I want to single out April Decatur for calling me about the job opening because at the time, I really wasn't looking for a different employment. It has been a joy to be a police officer in a city where I feel we are appreciated for the work that we do. So, thank you, Brian. Congratulations. And we're glad to have you here for sure. Next is Sergeant Chad Kinsey. He'll take over that role at the beginning of the year. Chad was born in Big Rapids. I grew up in Reed City. He attended, yeah. I'll save my Go Coyotes for another. attended Ferris State University for criminal justice, and while there worked at the FSU Ice Arena. He graduated from Ferris in 2015, then worked at Spectrum Security for a year prior to being hired by us in 2016, where he has been since. Both of these guys we're lucky to have at our department. We're lucky to be able to promote them into supervisory roles, and they're both going to do amazing in those roles. Anybody have any questions for either of them, or anything you guys would like to say?
Just a welcoming statement, or well, not welcoming. Thank you for continuing to choose Big Rapids as your community. It's not a new community to you necessarily, and Osceola County is very, very close. But thank you for continuing to choose.
Welcome.
Congratulations, guys.
I would advise that the police staff that's here, we're going to have more mundane business, and it would be just fine with me if you went home with your families. If you want to stay and listen, feel free. It's no insult to the commission.
That's fine. Okay. Yep.
There is no study session today. Public comment unrelated to items on the agenda. Wendy? Bill?
Dad.
There's only about three of you here. Rosemary? That's it. Well, they're the public. I know them all. No public hearing, general business. The first is a resolution approving Mead and Hunt to provide the construction administration for the runway extension. This is just the final step in getting that contract done. Mark, anything special on that?
I will start, and I know Steve and Kendra will step in if something needs to be added or there's questions. We have a contract that exists with Mead and Hunt to do the engineering work for our runway extension. They did not add construction administration into that original contract because we did not know at that time how much it would be, the scale of it, what the bids were. It's sort of a function of the total project cost. And, but we have budgeted a certain amount for it the entire time. So there's money there for it. We now know what the cost will be. And this amendment number 1 is adding those construction administration costs into our ongoing contract.
Anything you would report?
Yeah, no, Mark summarized it very well. The original contract was back in June of 2023, so, and that's how they do it. They had a section in there that had said that it would be negotiated as an amendment once the bids came back. They knew the scope of the construction essentially. And like Mark had said there, the financial plan that we've been referencing through this whole process has been about $328,000 is what we figured it would be. So coming in at the $269,456.38, certainly welcoming as well, being under. So
Just a discount.
so that was a good thing.
Others with questions for the staff? Public, any questions? Hearing none, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
And a second. Further questions? Brad, you looked at her?
I did.
We'll call the vote then, please, Karen. Our first all-alone full-time clerk, Karen Minoski, today. Big deal, I think.
I'm happy to be here. James, sorry, I'm looking at you. I didn't know, maybe there was another one. I'm sorry. Here, yes. I started it, I'm sorry. Johnson.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Simmons. Yes. Gunther.
Yes. I hope that really happens, that airport extension. We voted on enough things so
Yes,
many
we have.
times. Is it really gonna happen? Amazing. Oh, Danny, or excuse me, Chief. You wanna move a stop sign and that takes a resolution?
It's a dead end sign
Oh,
and
that takes a resolution. Those dead end signs? Mark, did you make a picture so we can see where it is now and where it's gonna be?
Well, there's a picture in your packet, and
Yeah,
I
that's
hope
not a
that Chief could explain on there.
Did you drive?
Where it was.
Well,
Did
I
you
was
do it?
chauffeured, I didn't drive, we know I don't drive.
You looked for the stuff.
Oh, yes, and I had a
Good
difficult
job.
time based on the description I had here, trying to figure out what you were trying to do. But we finally figured it out, because you were using the Ridgeview Drive as just a place, as a marking. It didn't really have anything to do with Ridgeview Drive, which I didn't think it did. So you keep going down the street and there's the dead end sign. So what you're trying to do is let people know before they get to the end of the street, that's a dead end street.
That must,
You did a great job with that.
that was it. Very good, Lorraine. Is that really an issue?
We received some complaints about where it was placed and that people are driving down into the apartment complexes and turning around and just adding to vehicle congestion. So move the sign is what we will do.
I did it when I was younger accidentally.
Was it that big of a burden? I mean, gee whiz.
I didn't complain about it, but I was just saying I've done it before.
Is there a motion for approval of moving the dead end sign?
So moved.
Support, second.
Questions, anyone out there? The complainants were mostly the apartment complex managers,
Tenants.
tenants. Okay, very good.
From
That
their
many
perspective,
vehicles?
it's gotta be kind of unnerving having random vehicles going around your vehicles and break-ins and things like that. And the more you can minimize it, probably reduces, like you can catch the bad guy maybe because there's less vehicles doing it.
They aren't your like plush apartment complexes.
Oh, I know, but I know, but it's all towards safety.
They're doing great.
We're getting it, right? We can call the question.
Johnson.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
Gunther.
Yes.
James. Yes.
I find it curious that the city commission has to approve removal of a dead end sign.
It's in the traffic code, the uniform traffic code, if it's gonna be a
What's the
permanent.
uniform traffic
The
code?
city has adopted the uniform traffic
Of
code
the world or
of
something?
the state of Michigan. And, in order to make a traffic control order permanent, i.e. lasting more than 90 days, the legislative body, the city commission has to approve it, so. Danny has the power to do it up to 90 days, anything beyond that has to get your approval.
And like other, like one-way signs don't, or other ones do, or?
Any traffic control order, so anything on city streets, changing signs.
Thank you for that. Next, the resolution for the new city attorney agreement.
Not new,
Just
amended.
fed you right into that. Amendment. Mark?
Yes, I'll start, and I believe Brad has some comments as well. We're 2 years into working with Micah Myers. From my perspective, and I think staff's, it's going very well. We have a good working relationship. Brad is always easy to get a hold of. He's here on the Mondays at commission meetings. There's a breadth of services that Micah Myers offers that we take advantage of from time to time. And that relationship has been very good. So 2 years in, they have not had any increases in their rates, and so it was time to look at those. And this is structured, this amendment would structure our billings differently than they currently are. We are looking at trying a flat rate, so to speak, or a retainer that would maybe be easier on, in terms of budgeting and accounting for. And I think will, in the end, probably save the city some money. There may be billings or charges on top of that flat rate, depending on the services that are unique to that time, a jury trial, those types of things, labor law issues that come up, or our bond counsel with Mark Nettleton, who's from Micah Myers. I'm assuming those would be additional items, but those are not routine. And so it's my recommendation to move forward with this amendment, and I enjoy working with Brad and his team.
Thank you, Mark. Questions from, go ahead,
I
Brad.
just add, I think Mark summarized it well, and it's mutual on our side. Micah Myers really enjoys working with the city. We think the relationship is great. We want to continue it. And we kind of came up with this structure, so rather than just a percentage increase on hourly, we thought it'd be easier for both sides to structure budgeting to have a flat fee component for at least the general services that are routine that we perform. So that's why we came up with this.
Questions?
Is this an annual thing or?
The contract was for an initial 2-year term, and then it renews for 3-year terms after that. The rates were locked in for that initial 2-year term. So after this, we could revisit it on an annual basis. We could revisit it, you know, however often. If it's not working, we can look at it.
Oh, okay, okay. Thank you.
Other commissioners?
Talk a little bit about what special projects means. I see it refers to the Charter Review Commission. Have there been any other examples you could give?
Sure, yeah, so the general services would be kind of the general services we perform here on Monday nights and on Monday commission meetings, general meetings, all the prosecution work up to the pretrial phase, so that would be reviewing the warrants and authorizing warrants, doing the pretrials, reading police reports, doing all that work, appearing in court up to the point where it gets to, if there's a trial.
Got
If there were going to be a trial, that would be a special project on an hourly basis. We've only had one of those in 2 years, one jury trial that got appealed. On top of that, employment investigations, so if there's an investigation into an employment issue, which we've had a couple over the 2 years, that would be something, just because you can't control, you know, the scope of that necessarily, so that would be an hourly basis. And then special project, the Charter Review Commission is kind of one that just came to mind, as it was an additional thing that was billed separately already. We would just continue to keep that separate, because they have their own budget, so it comes out of that budget. But that sort of thing, if there were another kind of special project that was separate from general commission work, that would be on an hourly basis.
Okay.
And that would be within your control to authorize and adjust the scope on at any time.
We'll still get a monthly bill itemized, even though you're on a salary.
Correct.
We'll see how many hours you're doing at that time.
Yep,
So it's easy to compare and
Yep.
for the next contract or whatever.
correct, yes.
Anyone else? Public? Is there a motion for the city attorney agreement amendment?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Questions further? Karen?
Rhodes,
Yes.
Simmon,
Yes.
Gunther,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
I sat in on this next one because I had no clue what they were talking about. Our director of wastewater treatment was filling Mark in on a big problem at the wastewater plant. At the end, I didn't have any better clue than before, but go ahead, Mark, or who's?
I think, Jake, if you don't mind, sort of summarizing where we're at. that would
I'm just gonna,
appreciate it.
I have some pictures.
Oh,
Everybody likes pictures.
We like photos.
That's, this is my attempt
Is that
at.
part of the problem there, that whatever thing is?
yeah, Kim's box or
See,
something.
the antlers went through.
Try not to use initials like VFD and APT
Yeah, yeah.
and all
Well,
that,
It's a
because that really
variable
throws me.
frequency drive, man.
I
Free
know.
drive, call it a free drive.
Alright, so last Saturday, we had some failures at the plant. And it ended up being variable frequency drives. We can go through the whole thing, but I'll give you an idea what they are and what they do and why we need them. That sounds like a plan? Alright, so you can see this cabinet, the blue box, is the variable frequency drive. And we have 3 of these on 3 aeration blowers, and they provide air to the aeration tanks. So what has happened is the fan that blows air through, they're located right down here, and it blows air up to the top and cools what they call a heat sink, and that keeps the controls, like the electrical board, cooler. And the fan has gone out and called the board to heat up, and now the board can't turn the new fan on. It's happened on 2 of our VFDs, but they've overheated and can't recover. They're both 15 years old. So on Saturday, we had one overheat and fail. Then we had a bearing sensor fail. It was saying that the bearing was 200 degrees and it was only 100. So we switched over to try that one, and the VFD failed, and then we switched to the second one, which the VFD failed. So we had 2 go on the same day. It was pretty exciting, to say the least. So what you're seeing here is this VFD works, but the fan won't turn on. So you can see we have a fan right there. It's always on in case it calls. It will function right now that way. I don't recommend it.
but it will work. We do have one working VFD. So these are the blowers that they operate, the motors back there. The VFD allows us to ramp up or slow down the motor based on what air we need. Right now I run them relatively slow, so if we were to just, like say, hot wired or straight wire it, we'd run those way higher than we need, and it's like, I look at it like blowing milk in your bubbles. If you blow it real soft, you can get just a bubble. If you blow real hard, it makes it foam. It would do the same thing in the aeration basin. It would overflow in the parking lot, everybody would be calling. The bugs don't like it. So, and those blowers provide air. This is our aeration tank. We're currently using 3 of them, and you see there's a little foam, but that's the way we like it. That's a good thing. Sometimes too much air, you can see that little orange DO ball will get covered. You'll get like a foot of foam. So that's what they do. The air is what we keep the bugs alive with. Keeps the mixed liquor mixed. And I say mixed liquor, it's the bugs and the waste together. Sorry, I had to. We're not drinking it down there. I just
That's a
not what you
good
think is. We're not doing
analogy.
shots. It is. We return bugs all the time to keep it like the life form, and we treat it with the raw sewage they mix. It's called mixed liquor. Wastewater term. I'm sorry. Is there any questions on the VFDs or variable frequency drives?
The
You've
question
already
I,
ordered these, right? They're on
We
order?
have not ordered it yet.
They're on
waiting for
order.
tonight.
But yeah, we are functioning with one right now that is working, but it's the exact same age as the other 2. They were all installed the same year. They are. I just want to clarify some other things. They were part of our bond that we were going to do. We were going to attempt to try to match those up with the new blowers, and hopefully you can reuse these 2 new ones. Is the hope. We'll do the best we can with that.
That was what I was gonna say.
Oh.
We're gonna try to use those,
Yes.
but we may not be able to use those.
Right. We may not be able to.
Well, we know we can't
We
go
talked with
without
our
them in the
engineer and
meantime. Yeah.
And Steve King is here with us. He's the one providing the VFDs.
Yeah, so introductions, Mayor, Stephen from Top Line.
Top line,
He's in the
yeah,
back
that's
here, and he may have comments too or
Yeah.
something, so.
I don't know if he's got any on speed dial to order these or not. But,
Well, don't the computer departments keep their rooms chilled to keep computer equipment from getting too hot?
so these cabinets, and let me see if I can see a picture. These cabinets have fans, and you can see them right here. There's fans on for taking in air and not taking out air in that room. That room has airflow, like a temperature sensor, allows air to come through. We did reevaluate what temperature we keep that at. It's not really heated because there's enough electrical equipment there. It keeps it pretty warm. But we're gonna try that a little lower. And we're gonna try a couple of different things other than that. But you can, as far as every computer IT has a conditioned room. And you guys want to pay for that? No.
Well,
No, but I know with the price you're talking about.
Yeah.
But, it takes in fresh air. It's supposed to open up louvers and take in fresh air when it hits a certain temperature and go out. And that is functioning properly. We did double check that, but also they're 15 years old. You know, if you think of like a laptop or a cell phone that you bought 15 years ago that you're still using.
the new things that we're spending $8 million on are the same. Where it's not the new technology of keeping it cool a different way. We're gonna have these little blower things.
The the new VFDs will fit in the exact same cabinet.
Sorry, Mayor.
You know where I'm going.
Yeah, yeah.
Is this the latest technology or is it
Right.
15-year-old technology?
And is there potential, do they have to be mounted in a cabinet? Is the enclosed component of it something that creates a problem with heating? Is there another way they could be mounted, the room could be cooled? Is there other ways, Stephen or Jake, that we can do it to prevent this from happening in the future?
We could definitely cool the room, and then we discussed, there's some services we can hire out to have them just cleaned. Because the heat sinks would collect dust. And, over 15 years, that dust back there, we can get the dust off, it would help dissipate the heat better. And then I think we're going to do more of that.
We can look at that with Fleece and Vandenbrink too, Mayor.
Yeah.
We'll make a point of that.
There's some services that come out there, or there's some other options we can do to try to.
So top line, is that what everybody has and they're just going old technology or,
It's not necessarily old technology, it's the same technology. The big thing is just keeping filters clean and routine maintenance. I mean, Big Rapids is not any different than anybody else. They, you know, things, it all costs money and nobody really wants to pay that. So that's just, and they, like Jake said, they are 15 years old. They don't last forever.
So my question then is, it's not the technology, it's the fact that the technology has been in work for 15 years. That's the reason it's failing, not because the technology itself is faulty.
Correct.
Okay.
And these blowers, they alternate, but they could potentially be running for 24 hours for,
Yeah, so
for
that's,
months and
that's
months.
the other thing, these are in service 24 hours a day. 365 days a year, and you're talking that time, over 15 years, that's a
Viewpoint would
that's a
be,
long run.
is there a way to liquid cool those cabinets and maintain a steady temperature? Because you're just blowing air at the rate of whatever the air temperature is. If the room gets hot, it just blows hot air.
Sure.
Or like an engine, like your auto engine, it's liquid cooled, it maintains a stable temperature. This is still gonna have temperature swings. And as it gets older, I can understand it. Distractions, expansion. Is there a way to keep liquid cool and maintain a stable?
Not that I know of.
I just
Not that I know of. Typically,
You might want to patent that idea.
yeah.
It just seems like if you could maintain the temperature stable, you wouldn't have all them swings as much.
Well, in the room, I think is kind of temperature controlled. It has an exhaust fan and louvers, and when it reaches a temperature, you know, like your home, it doesn't, it's not like a 20-degree swing. There might be a 5-degree swing, and then it opens the louvers and pulls fresh air in the building.
I remember the hospital had to put, I don't know, nearly $100,000 into the room to keep the temperature exactly where the computers wanted to be. But this is not quite like that.
It's not quite like that, no. There is no, we don't have a cooling unit for it, for that room. We only have the fan that comes on and off.
It's hot, it's just blows hot.
I mean, obviously in the winter, it's cools. If we wanna look at a separate rooftop unit during our, whatever.
Okay, very good, we want it to work, huh? Anybody have further questions? Public?
I think you explained it very,
Yes.
very well.
Yes, you did.
Their motion.
So moved.
Second.
And there's a second for the emergency purchase of 2 variable frequency drives. Karen?
Simmons.
Yes.
Gunther.
Yes.
James. Yes. Johnson.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Motion carries. The only unscheduled business I have is that I would like to thank the commission and the staff for a good 2024. I thought it was really positive, really good things happened, a lot of fantastic projects. We got our police force accredited. I mean, there's just a slew of stuff in '24, and I would like to thank everyone who participated. And if we can be as successful, we had a fire merger, come on, major issue in this community. And so, thanks everybody, and I think 25 is nearly as good as 24. That'll be a great year too. So thank you. Other unscheduled business, please.
Stifling my pen. So I have some unscheduled business. I was recently contacted by the Michigan Municipal League and asked to sit on their Energy and Environmental Committee to be a local person helping to inform their opinions on the legislature when it comes to energy and environmental impact. So just wanted to let everybody know what I'm working on.
Very good. And we don't want them, the state, to tell us where we have to put all the solar panels. We'd like to decide that ourselves.
Exactly.
That passed, didn't it?
Yeah, that's already law.
It's already law.
That ship has sailed, unfortunately.
But going forward, you know, putting yourself in the room helps.
Anything else, Mark?
Mayor, we have a water main break right out in front of TNT, roughly in between Elks and TNT. They're gonna be there in the morning. The only we have valves on Michigan Avenue at Maple Street and at Hemlock. So everything in between there for some period of time, roughly from probably 7:30 in the morning till hopefully noon, it can be back on.
The
We'll
whole
be on water.
downtown is what you're saying. It's gonna have no water?
Half of it. Went door to door, Josh went door to door talking to all the business owners. It's an unfortunate set of circumstances. We looked at doing it at night, we looked at,
Who's doing it, Mark?
Our guys. Scott's gonna come help, Scott Morningstar's gonna come help dig the hole. It's only about 6 foot down. So, you know, fingers crossed, it could go quickly, but it's an impact on folks. But we have, gotten the word out, right, Steve? And I know Josh Piles went door to door.
All the restaurants are closed for the.
They're gonna be without water. I don't know what they're doing to react to that. I think Bell's, I heard, was gonna be closed. I mean, hers is almost totally, you know, water impacted, so. Yeah, it's an unfortunate set of circumstances.
Is it
but-
an oldie? Where's Heather?
Yeah, it's old, yeah.
Is it an oldie, Heather, that we have been worried about?
One of the oldest water mains.
Yep.
Not everything.
How did you discover that?
It's water running down the gutter. If you go look, you'll see it tonight. Yeah.
Put a meter on there, cause we have to keep track of where all the water. There's such a thing. Anything else? Karen?
I had a member of the community reach out to me about 2 different things. The first was verifying whether or not members of the public, when making comments, are supposed to state their actual address or just the street that they live on. And we've gone back and forth on this. Might I suggest that, you know, you guys think on that and we come up with a standard if we don't have one already?
I think we have one that says address, but I'll
What's
double
legal,
check
Brad?
that.
So you can do it either way. I think your rules of procedure, it's a good practice to have them state their address so that you know that they're city residents when they're speaking. The rules of procedure should set that out. I don't know that ours do, but we review them in January anyway, so it'd be a good
Correct.
time to look at that, and if you want to implement that change when we adopt the new rules of procedure, we could put that change in there.
I would be in favor of having them list their street and not their full address, just given everything that we do. Of course, you know, we wanna be transparent, but it's available online, so, there's
For
that.
privacy, et cetera, Karen?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, you state your name and you state the street that you live on and, but that was suggested. And then, and another idea on how to continuously improve our communications with residents. Someone mentioned what the Big Rapids Township does, or some sort of, you can sign up to receive texts.
Oh, we do text notifications.
Okay, I didn't realize that, so I'll have to figure out how to do that.
We did the information. Gotcha.
That's in full force, that text notification thing?
How long have we been doing
Mark
that?
and I had this discussion, that wasn't.
Yeah, and then I told him we need to do tax.
You do it, and then,
What kind of things are you texting people?
well,
That was
it's
the water.
on an as-needed basis, it's not like every day or anything, so for instance, today with the water main,
Yeah,
I sent out a mass text message to anyone who signs up.
How do you sign up for that?
You go on our website, and then there's a link right on the front page, and
today
all
I
your
learned.
information and your phone number, and then it's on an as-needed basis. It's not gonna spam your phone or anything. You're not gonna get a bunch of spam messages. It's just.
Did it
you know,
cost us
water main-
much?
What's that?
Did it cost us much, Steve?
No, it doesn't cost us. It's like $22 a month.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap. Yeah.
There was
Put
a
it on
mass text
Facebook
last week
months
about
ago.
how to sign up for
Yeah.
mass text.
And lastly, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everyone. Please do keep your friends, your family, close. There was another school shooting today in Wisconsin. This is supposed to be a happy time of year filled with joy. So please bear that in mind as you celebrate with your family, to keep them close to you.
Thank you, Karen.
David.
I just want to say thank you to all my colleagues here for having faith in me and actually appointing me back in July to take this position. So thank you for having me join you all.
Glad to have you
More than
here.
welcome. Community, anything? We stand adjourned.
Heather, I have a question for you. On the 3rd, is